Hi, I'm Dr. Jaban. Today I'm going to talk about why autoimmunity, chronic fatigues, chronic illness, PANDAS, autism are so on the rise. Right now, if you look at the statistics, back when I was a kid, there was not this many autistic kids that were known. Yeah, we're better at diagnosing it, but we're not 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 59 better. Autoimmunities are skyrocketing. How many people did you know 30, 40, 50 years ago, fibromyalgia, Alzheimer's, and all these other conditions? Why are they on the rise? What's the difference? Let me tell you my 60-second spiel, or thought process anyway, of what these things are straight off the top here, and then I'm going to go through each one of them. So, hygiene products are toxic. Food is becoming toxic. We're over farming the ground. We are stressed out. We're burning the candle at both ends at work, with kids, with activities. We're not getting enough sleep. We're not getting our feet on the ground, which decreases the number of negative ions in your body. There are studies to show this. We're not getting the sun on our skin to increase vitamin D, an immune regulator. We're not moving near as much as we used to. We're killing off the bacteria in our digestive tract, whether it be from the foods or the drugs that have been put through our bodies, such as the antibiotics. Radiation and radioactive elements are everywhere. They're coming out of every oil field. They're coming out of nuclear power plants. They're coming from things even like microwaves, which emit electromagnetic frequencies, like cell phone towers that are everywhere. And there are studies to back up, and countries are outlawing some of this in their own cities. So that was the start. Now here, let me go through this in detail for you a little bit more. Let's start with hygiene. Hygiene is something that we all need to have, but did you know that half those products actually have a ton of toxins in it? If you read the label on it, do you know what any of those things are? And if you don't, why are you putting them on your body? Your skin absorbs up to 70% of what you put on it. So if you're using shampoo or makeup or lotion that is toxic for you, what is happening in your body? You're increasing the toxic burden that is going to start to bring you down, because your body has to detox and filter all of that out. And as the toxic burden builds on you, it increases things like cancer and autoimmunity and chronic illness. Because if you look at studies out of Brown and other different universities like Columbia and Harvard, they're showing that inflammation and toxic burden is leading to cancer, and it's one of the most driving forces out there right now. So we have to look at our products like hygiene so that we can understand how to get ourselves better. There is an app you can put on your phone named Environmental Workers Group, where you can take a picture of a barcode and you can actually see what's in there. Let's talk about our foods. We have had lawsuits won over the fact that different chemical compounds that are being put on your food can create cancer, because it is toxic to the human body, or is toxic to the microbiome that protects you from getting sick. We've overfarmed our fields so much that the nutrients in there are not the same. I saw one study that said that, an apple a day keep the doctor away used to be true back in the 50s, but now you have to eat anywhere between 4 and 50 times more apples to get the same amount of nutrients that you did back then. So even if it's 4 apples a day, that means that you're getting 1/4 the nutrition you used to get. We process most of the food that we eat. So go to your house and look at the foods. How many of them don't have an ingredients label? Think about it. If you don't have an ingredients label on your food, that's because it's fruit, that's because it's vegetable, that's because it's meat. Those are the things you used to live off of, because there weren't all these processed foods that strip the nutrients out, increasing typically the carbohydrate amount in it and the glycemic index, which all causes stress for your body. Let's talk about stress. How many of you are way more stressed out than your parents were when they were the same age as you, because of the amount of things going on? We're constantly on our phones, causing our brain to have dopamine spikes, because we're watching all of these Facebook scrolls and Instagram scrolls and everything else that we're watching, which causes stress to our body. We're not detaching and just relaxing and sitting with our families and enjoying rest, which we have to do, and it's showing in our hormone panels. We're not sleeping as much. We're burning the candle literally at both ends. Did you know that saying came because they said you would get sick if you did that? So if you worked until you had to have the candle lit to keep working, then went to sleep, and then woke up before the sun came up, lit that candle again, you are burning the candle at both ends, which will wear you out and lead to sickness, leading to autoimmunity, stressing the body out, chronic fatigue. Remember, so this is where it's all tying in. we're not grounding. So grounding actually allows for negative ions to leave your body. So we're talking about electricity, right? Ions. We're talking about, atomic level sicknesses. So if you can put your feet on the ground, it allows that out. There are at least 50 studies that show that grounding can change the body's chemistry, even in blood work in some of those studies. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is absolutely necessary for your immune system, for regulation of so many body processes. And how many of you get out in the sun? Even a quarter of what your ancestors did. Because we don't do it, right? Kids, we're not telling them to just go outside and stay outside all day like we used to. We're not working jobs in fields and outside as much as we used to. No, we're cooped up inside on our computers. So we're not getting that vitamin D. We're not exercising all the time, which actually is needed. We're mammals. We have to move to survive. And we're not exercising near as much. Most of us maybe get an hour a day, whereas I know for a fact my dad, working construction, did it for 8 hours a day. So did his dad and his dad. So we're definitely not moving near as much as we used to. The microbiome is under assault from the herbicides, the pesticides, the insecticides, from the toxins in our hygiene products, from the medications that we're taking. There are so many assaults on our digestive tract that is causing a wipe out of our microbiome, and that's just the start of it, because once those are gone, and then we only eat these small amounts of foods as far as the variety, because we're able to go to the grocery store and we can buy our favorite things every week, every month, versus only being able to eat what was in season like they used to. So whether that was meat or grains or fruits or vegetables or nuts, we could only eat what was in season, which gave us more of a variety in our diet. And then radiation. Every oil rig out there pumps all the way, or drills all the way down. They pump the oil all the way up, and that's bringing radioactive elements from the ground, from the Earth's core up into the land that we live on, and then it runs off into our environment, causing radiation to go into our water supplies, into our ground, into the food we're eating, the animals we're eating, all around us, and it's not being regulated enough to keep that radioactive element away from us. We're also digging into the ground where radon is and then living in it if we're not testing for it on that end. Not to mention nuclear power plants blowing up, or Fukushima, or nuclear weapons that were experimented with. Look up on YouTube. There's a video that shows that in Las Vegas alone there was hundreds of nuke tests done. So there's tons of radiation out there. And then top it all off, we are putting towers everywhere, all around us, that emit electromagnetic frequencies, these cell phone towers. They were 4G, lots of research done there that shows that mutates human genetics and changes our health. And now 5G is so much stronger, and it's going up everywhere. And like I said, there are countries outlawing this. So all of these are reasons why our bodies are breaking down on a more chronic level. So these things aren't killing you today or tomorrow. They're killing you over time, leading to sickness, leading to disease, allowing for you to get sicker, get Lyme disease, get parasites, get infections that are bringing you down on the chronic level, versus simply just the way it used to be, where you aged and then something would happen and we would die, but we didn't necessarily have these chronic infections, toxic feelings in our bodies all the time. And that's why all those things I just went through. So if you can start picking those off in your life, removing them one by one, that's one way that you can help yourself to avoid chronic illness, autoimmunity. There it is. If you know somebody dealing with some of these chronic illness, autoimmunity, or somebody that you just want to know that this is how you can start effectively preventing yourself from getting some of these, share this out. I have a Facebook page called True Healing Strategies. Invite your friends to it. We talk about how to work with these things all the time. There's so many great people in this community, all wanting to help each other so that we can all stay well and live awesome, healthy, happy lives. Thanks for watching.